I left my family. I left my kids. I left my nightclubs, my parking company, $35 million to fight the fight.
A lot of you guys have either subscribed or have asked about those tapes of Sammy when he gets home and talks about John. So we're in a few seconds, we'll be playing that clip, and John is just going to give you kind of a precursor background on what you'll be hearing for the, I believe it's a 20, maybe 30-minute long clip. At times, some of the audio is a little bit butchered, but we're going to have our fantastic producer try to do his best to piece it together and make it super clear for you guys. So we hope you enjoy, but John's going to set it up.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you, Patreon. I'm very glad to answer those Q&A questions from everybody. And we're going to give you something special now. Sammy Gravano went to jail a second time after the Gotti case for an ecstasy ring. He did about, I believe he did about 18 years on that. When he came home, he was contacted by one of the directors, producers of my show, Perfect Gangster, that was out on a documentary series. And what he wanted to do was get the opinion of Sammy Gravano about me. And they had his first interview by telephone after 18 years was through the guy Andy that did my Perfect Gangster. And you'll hear Andy calling Sammy Gravano by tape, by phone, on audio, discussing questions of what he thought about me, relating me to a Perfect Gangster, and some of the questions that went along about me being an active enforcer for the Gambino family, the Gotti family, etc. So I hope you guys enjoy it and hear it. And along with that, right after that, we're going to put out tapes. Everybody's asking about me being at the Ravenite and why I won't put those tapes out. And I've decided to put them out. I believe we have 2 or 3 videos that we're going to put out at this time. And then we have some others that we're going to put out. And for the people that don't know, the Ravenite is where members or members of the mob from all our families that have any kind of business with Gotti Sr. at that time as boss and the Gambino family, they meet at our club at the Ravenite. And anybody else that may become a member, they're invited to that club only exclusively through Gotti's OK. And you're going to see that also at Patreon and nowhere else. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy the tape. I hope you enjoy the videos when they do come out.
Yeah, and if any questions arise from after you listen and hopefully enjoy, we'll be doing our live monthly call-ins. So again, we thank you for being part of the Patreon family. And the reason that you get to see this is because you are part of the Patreon family. So we hope you enjoy.
Remember, everybody, my book's coming out. It's out now, pre-sales. It's called Mafia International, John Alite. Thanks, everybody.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, is this, can I talk to Mr. Gravano?
Sorry for me taking contact.
Okay, hi, this is Andy Deliana. We spoke a couple of weeks ago, or a few months ago, through John Alite. I don't know if you remember. Yes? Okay, I'm a film director, and we're working on a few projects.
You want to go further? So this
a series probably that are called The Perfect Gangster. I don't know if you're aware of that. Yeah? Okay. We already done 2 episodes, and there are more to come. And we started with John Alite and few others. The goal of the project is to meet gangsters and to find what could be the main features of a gangster, what life on the street means to them, and at the heart of their life, what is the biggest of the struggle and their achievements. What makes them the perfect gangster? This is the main quest. All around that is also stories about the mob in general and Italian mafia in general, without being specific about one character or another. It's depending more on what they want to show, what they want to expose, that they think is relevant for their life, their own quest. So I just did an introduction, a little bit of what the show is about, the documentary is about, and I wanted to talk to you as well because I find you extremely interesting as a character, as a person, as what you've done. I know very well, what the media already talked about it, stories of the past. I would love to see a little bit where you're standing now, and a few questions about John Alite as well, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, okay. How do you feel now that you are out and you're back in life? How do you feel?
I feel good.
All right.
I just did 17.5 years in prison.
Okay.
And getting out, I feel pretty good.
Okay.
I was in contact with my friend Alite, who was in the Gambino family.
Okay.
Very powerful member of the Gambino family. He's my Albanian mafioso soulmate.
Okay.
I think the world of him. He's a legitimate tough guy. I think he was put under the wrong people at the time when he was in the Gambino family. At least he was part of my crew. But that didn't happen. So right now, I feel pretty good. I'm just working on a few things myself.
Great.
And I'm adjusting back into society after that long of a period of time in prison.
Do you feel that you have the most important features of a true gangster?
The most important features of a good gangster?
Yes. Or true?
Important features is loyalty, honesty. You have to have those things. If you betray your friends, they betray you. And that happens over and over again. It happened to me. It happened to Johnny Alite. And once that happens, everything falls apart. Once you lose the honesty and the loyalty, why should anybody else keep it? So those are important things when you take your oath coming into the Mafia. Those are very, very important. And you have to live that every day of your life.
Wonderful. Would you consider yourself more as a true gangster or a mafioso? Can you make a difference between those two?
There's two things that are in the Mafia. Some guys are a gangster, street gangster, a thug. That's really all they know, they're tough. Then there's racketeers. They know business, they know how to run unions. And they're a little more, they're calmer. So there's two different kinds of mafiosos. But a true mafioso, and it's very rare, are both. Gangster, thug, and a racketeer. And he knows business, he knows how to run unions, he knows how to make money. And I believe John Alite had those qualities, both qualities. He could be tough, he could be honest, he could be loyal, he's not stupid. He knew how to run businesses and unions and different things, so he had a good quality. Most mafiosos don't have that. They need a full-fledged gangster or a racketeer.
Wonderful. Can you remember when was the first time you met John?
I don't remember the actual dates, but it was before in the 80s. He used to come down to the club to see John Gotti Sr. And I think I saw him there, met him there a few times. But I knew of him, and knew of his reputation, and I respected him.
Okay. Did you see him with John Gotti Sr.?
I'm not sure. I might have. There was a lot of guys down there. I'm not sure if John Gotti Jr. was with him. I'm not sure.
Okay.
He probably was, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you remember a little bit what was his activities back in time?
Whose activities?
John Alite's?
Well, I think they used him more or less to be a strong arm. He was the muscle for John Gotti Jr.
Okay. Very good. Can I ask you a specific question regarding one of the events back in time in 1990s regarding a gentleman called Louis De Bono?
Yeah.
Have you heard that maybe Alite also was involved or not back in time with what happened to Mr. De Bono?
Well, I knew basically what happened, but I didn't know all the players that were involved in the actual murder of him. So he might have been involved, I don't know for sure.
Okay. All right. Did you know that he probably knew also Bobby Borriello back in time?
Oh, of course he knew him. He was in the same crew. Bobby Borriello was under John Jr., and so was Alite.
Okay.
So he had to know him.
All right. Did you know that maybe on the 90s or 1991, Alite, or 1991, I'd say more, Alite kind of had a fall off with Junior, or you were in prison that time?
What, in 91 you said?
90 or 91?
Yeah, I was in prison. I went to prison in December of 90.
Okay. I see. What was your impression of the guys that were around John Gotti Sr. in general? Were they loyal?
There was captains around him. I mean, he was the boss, so there was, I was the underboss. There was a consigliere. There was captains. There was main men. There was associates. And Alite couldn't get made because he wasn't Italian on his father's end. But he was, to us, he was an Albanian mafioso.
Okay.
With total respect.
No, totally understand. Regarding the activities of the mob, can I ask you a question regarding the involvement with the drugs? Have you heard anything about any involvement of the mob with the drug business?
Well, there was a lot of guys involved in drugs. I stayed away from it because I just didn't like the people you had to deal with when you dealt with drugs. So I stayed away from it, basically. I understood that John Gotti Sr. said he didn't do it, but he had his hand out. John Gotti Jr. did it. Alite did it. And a bunch of people around him did it. But I wasn't involved in that. So I couldn't add too much information more than that.
I understand. Do you think the late 80s FBI was closing in, was trying everything to get the mob done, like really put the mob down? Do you have any impression of that time, late 80s? How did you feel?
Well, it was. They were always around us. I had people surveilling me, watching me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I knew they were around. John Gotti Sr. just brought that kind of heat to our family by the way he acted, by being flashy and making everybody meet him down Mulberry Street, and he exposed the whole mob. He made a mistake, a big mistake. And we got arrested because of things he said on tape. Not me, and not most of the other guys, but it's what he said.
All right. At the time, Rudy Giuliani used to say, it is time that law enforcers get as organized crime. I don't know if you heard of that expression.
Yeah,
How
I'm not the only one who said it. There's quite a few people who said that it was always time to get organized crime out of the country, and there was always a multitude of agents and state organized crime status, strike force around us all the time. They were looking at orders. John played right into that. Got himself caught in a stupid place, talking about all kinds of things we did, murders and every other thing, which you should never do.
Okay. Can I ask you another question regarding the mentality of a gangster? Do you think that kind of mentality, focusing on certain egoism but also being self-centered, is also the heart of what capitalism is about?
Say that again.
in capitalism, we are focused on materialistic things. We try to acquire things. In a way, we center the interest of the world toward our own interest, and somehow gangsters represent that too.
I don't know if you can say that. Being a gangster is a secret society and a secret brotherhood. And Gotti broke that rule by putting it on Front Street in front of the news media. He loved it. He loved the publicity, and it destroyed him, me, and many, many others.
Anything that you feel like nostalgic about the life that you can say now?
Well, I believed in the life, and I still believe in it to an extent because it's part of my heritage as being an Italian. It started in Sicily. It's not just something, it's not a street gang. It's a brotherhood and a secret society that started in the 12th century. So there's a history of it. Just like Albanians have a history going back into their heritage. So they kind of feel different. It's not a gang to them. It's different. You get that?
Yes, absolutely. Do you feel that the mob, the Italian mob, is quite different than any other mob?
Yeah, I do. We have, like I said, most gangs start in the street, whatever time, frame they are. It comes from the 12th century in Sicily. It started strictly in Sicily, and it expanded in Italy, and then centuries later, it came into the United States. And if you take notice, everybody emulates us, whether it's the Black Mafia, the Mexican Mafia, no matter where they come from, ABs, they try and emulate what we want, our rules, our regulations, because they knew that it worked as a brotherhood and a secret society. So it was probably one of the most powerful organizations in the world.
Absolutely. Do you feel like the fact that the Italian mafia had issues and things are kind of different now, that allow other mafias or other, let's say, mobs taking your place, let's say, as Italians?
Well, I don't know about that because I've been away a long time, but they made a lot of new rules in the Mafia, from what I understand. And they don't kill, they don't do a lot of things today, which is a wise move on their part, because when you do these things, you bring heat. The public sees it, the public hates it. Sooner or later, you're all going to get caught. Because you can't keep bringing heat to yourself. That's why when you work undercover, nice, quiet, no violence, you do all your little scams, your unions, your businesses, and whatever, gambling and whatever you're doing, you're not facing a lot of time. There's a lot less people cooperating. So it's actually a smart move what they're doing, if that's exactly what they're doing. And I'm not 100% sure. It's just what I heard.
Okay. Have you heard there were other gangsters or, let's say, associates similar to Johnny Light, guys from the same ethnicity as him? They were part of the mob back in time.
There was guys who were part of the mob who weren't made. They had different backgrounds. There was German guys, there was Albanian guys. Yeah, there was a few Albanian guys. I'm not going to disclose their names, but there was a few Albanian guys who were involved. They were similar to the Italians. They were family oriented. They were people. They used your head. They were ballsy people. They were tough people. I mean, they were very similar to the Italians. So they fit in pretty good.
How is it to be away all this time and live in prison after having a beautiful life that you had, a beautiful career. How does it feel when you are actually closed somewhere and deprived of having your freedom and all the pleasures of life?
Oh, it's a horrible feeling. I mean, anybody can tell you that. It doesn't have to be an Italian. Anybody can tell you. When you're taking away your freedom is an important thing in life. You know, you're not only taking away from your freedom, you're taking away from your family. You're not seeing your wife, your children, your grandchildren growing up. You're not able to be there for their parties, to help them, to raise them. I mean, it's a horrible feeling. And that goes to anybody, whether you're black, Hispanic, Albanian, white, Chinese, it doesn't matter.
Being a part of an organization that also makes a good profit, being structured that way, do you feel like you're kind of challenging also structures of the society and being almost like a society apart that makes a better life than the rest of the Americans? Did you feel that way back in time?
No, like I told you, it was part of my heritage growing up. They were my idols growing up. Mafia, and it was part of my heritage. As far as making money, money has nothing to do with it, but it does. I mean, everybody wants to make money, but it wasn't part of it. It wasn't greed, and making money was just something we did, but it really wasn't Cosa Nostra. It wasn't our own thing.
I understand. Do you have any names from the past that you really looked up to as gangsters?
All the old-time gangsters I looked up to, Carlo Gambino, and just going right down the line, Capitalism, and there were so many different people with different names. There's dozens of them, but I don't want to get into all their names and everything. But I looked up to quite a few. And they didn't even have to be a boss. There was just guys who were just made guys, and they were on the lower level. I looked up to them too.
Okay. Through time, now when you look back at your life, and if you had another chance to do something else, would you still be attracted to that kind of a life?
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay. Do you think the situation today still gives a chance to other young people to maybe follow the same things, because it's almost like a nostalgia, but it's also like a lifestyle. It also has to deal with, as you said, with the heritage, or times have changed?
No, times have changed big time. People I met in prison who were younger and came into prison, they didn't have the same values. And a lot of those guys, it was all about money and drugs and all kinds of bullshit things. It really wasn't about it. They didn't feel the same way.
Okay. If you had to choose honor and truth, which one would you pick?
I think they're one and the same.
Okay. If you had to pick somebody you trust the most, would it be an Italian or not necessary?
No, it doesn't have to be Italian. You have to be an Italian to belong to the organization, because that was
It's tailored all around you. Your story, I'm happing my people. I'm not helping you. I'm helping my babies.
That's a perfect example.
Yes, you, but
Who are
them.
just as good, if not better, than the Italians. But to get made, you have to be an Italian. At least on your father's end.
Does it have to be also, I heard a lot because I spoke with at least a dozen of gangsters. Everybody says you have to be an earner. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not true.
All right.
There's a lot of guys in the Mafia who were broke, who weren't good at it. Like I said, the Mafia wasn't about money itself. We all made money and we all tried our best to do what we had to do. But it's not based on money.
If I ask you when you were young, how did you see your future? Have you ever thought of somebody who will cross your path and can be worse than you? Or have you ever thought of that you'll grow old and enjoy whatever you've done in your life? What was your dream back in time?
I don't when I was young, I never even thought I'd get old. I thought I'd either go to prison or die in the street, to be honest with you.
Can I say that to me as an audience, that looks like a romantic side of the mob, that you leave to enjoy life as a young man for a long time with all the possibilities and qualities that life can give you, or the luxury or the pleasures? Can I say it that way? There's a certain romanticism about it.
Yeah, there's a law to it. I mean, you make movies about it. I mean, you know, when I was young, the people in the neighborhood loved you. They looked up to you because you helped them. You weren't a gang who ruthlessly bothered people, bothered women in the neighborhood. You wouldn't allow a rapist or a child molester in the neighborhood. The big people knew that. So we lived by a code that people were able to respect. So sometimes they got justice from us that they couldn't get from the government and the police. So there was a different arrangement with us than some of these street gangs today. They abuse the people, they rob them, they hurt them, they do all kinds of weird shit. That was against what we stood for.
I see. Can I go back in time and in 1990?
Let's try to cut this short. One or two more questions.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I just want to know, have you heard that Johnny maybe assassinated somebody back in time?
That he assassinated people?
That maybe he killed somebody back in time, Johnny Alite?
That's that way.
Absolutely, yeah. He was a hit guy.
Okay.
He was a professional hit guy.
Listen to that now.
Would you work for himself or for somebody in the mob?
No, he worked, I believe he worked for the mob.
Okay, you got the answer.
Okay.
He went into things on his own, I don't know that. But I think what he did it under orders of the mob.
Okay. When you heard that he testified against John Gotti Jr., what was your first thought?
Nothing. He was betrayed by John Gotti Jr. And, I mean, he went on the lam, he got in trouble in Brazil, he went to prison, he was betrayed, and that's what happens. An action causes a reaction. So he had a reaction.
Okay. Can I just... Can we be specific? Yeah. Yeah.
One more question.
Yeah, just regarding the reaction you mentioned, when you say like he was betrayed, what could that be from John Gotti Jr. to him?
But you should ask Daylight,
Okay.
not me.
Okay. It's fine.
Ask him what happened.
It's fine.
But
Perfect.
he went through it. There's nobody who knows. Why should I put words in his mouth? Nobody knows him better than him. How he felt and how he was betrayed. But I do know from everything I hear that he was betrayed. Wasn't treated right. He was betrayed. And like I told you, once someone breaks the loyalty, there's no loyalty. So why would John have loyalty? Would you go to prison because your friend betrayed you and put you in a position to go to prison? Would you go? If you did, you'd have to be a fool. And I don't think Johnny A. likes a fool. So he was betrayed and he went the same route. So there's really over there, it's hard to blame anybody. The person you can blame is the person who betrayed the first person. Not for the second night. But you can't say Johnny A. testified and he broke the oath and he betrayed his friend. He got betrayed. So what do you do when that happens? Sometimes that's what you do. You either kill the person who betrayed you, or when you're not in a position like that, you're already arrested and everything, and you realize that you were betrayed and lied to, then the loyalty's out the window, anything else. And I guess that's the way it goes. That was our last question. It was a pleasure talking to you, and plus the answer to some of your questions.
Yes.
And I wish you good luck with your shows.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Gravano. I hope to talk to you soon again. Thank you very much. Have a nice one.